Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Ben Creech, and welcome to Daydreamers, where we talk to people achieving dreams, achieving goals, and stuff they're passionate about. Here, I am with Cole Jackson of SecondHand Mouse Productions.
Hey everybody.
So how do you...
How's it?
Oh.
No, I was just gonna ask you how you were doing.
Oh, I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing good despite everything.
Yeah, it's a crazy world right now. So how did you guys come up with the idea of SecondHand Mouse
Exactly.
Productions?
How did I come up with it?
Yeah.
I was actually sitting in a class, and our professor, Dr. Carter, was like, basically she was given kind of a speech lecture thing about how if you make things and you don't show them to the world, what's the point in making them? So I said, you know what? I'm going to start putting my projects on a YouTube page. And then I said, I needed kind of I wanted a professional thing. I didn't want it to just be like under my name or anything like that. So I wanted it kind of like under a company that way, in case I had anything else, like maybe I helped other people make stuff, or one of my friends made something, they didn't have a place to put it. I could put it there, and then it could be bigger than just me. Right now, it has been mostly just me, but that was the goal. And so I decided to start a production company. It's very small, obviously, right now, but that was the idea. And a lot of people ask me about the name. They like the name, but honestly, the name came from, it was basically, I was making fun of Disney, and I was just like, yeah, that's kind of funny. So, secondhand mouse, because I'm worse than Disney.
I was wondering that too. Well, I got a little bit mixed up sometimes because I was like second mouse, and I keep saying it like that.
Yeah,
Second
yeah.
hand
So
mouse. Yeah.
yeah, the whole point is like, Disney is like in control of the production world, and so we're the lesser of the. So
What
that's kind of the joke.
the indie version of
Yeah, yeah,
Disney.
exactly.
So what made you come with the people that you came with?
What made me come with the people I came with?
Yeah, the people, your team, the group.
My team, yeah. So for the most part, it's mostly just me. I make wedding films. That's basically what most of my business is. I do some recruiting videos. I'm recently working on something for a dentist right now, Instagram page. So it's mostly just me, but then I got in a podcast, and so they're not necessarily on the productions like I am, but they're entertainers, and they're very talented, even though they don't necessarily have that background. Kieran Gibbs is one of them. He is a production guy. He does his own things most of the time, but he was on my podcast, The Reach Around, for a while. He's a great host. He's very funny, and he's really good at what he does on the production side too. And then we have Emmett and Tristan, who are just very knowledgeable people about subjects all over. So I pulled them in onto the podcast, and that was going very well. And then after a while, um, my teacher from high school, who got me into production and stuff like that, we kind of got back together. And he is very knowledgeable in production, and he loves production. I'm more of a pre-production guy, and so we've been melding together and doing a lot of projects. He's actually working with me on this dentist video. We're going in on a studio together soon. And so it's basically the relationships I've had and people that I meet. I've met people on film crews and stuff like that, and I'd be willing to work with them again. Um, just it's the relationships you build with people.
Yeah, for sure. So how do you guys come up with the reach around?
How did we come up with the reach around? So we decided we wanted to make a podcast, and that was the first thing. And so I said, okay, I can buy equipment, because I started. That was around the time I came up with this, and I was like, okay, I got to start buying equipment and getting this thing together if anything's gonna happen. And so I started buying equipment so we can make this podcast. And so I said, it's a democracy, so I will let y'all try to come up with the name. And so there was a whole day where all four of us were in a group chat and we were just texting names, texting names. We were voting on them, and we are like, oh no, we don't want that. We don't want that. And then ultimately it was Tristan who texted that name as a joke. And they were like, excuse me, sorry. And then we were like, yeah, that's actually kind of funny, even though it's kind of inappropriate at the same time. But it was about just us because we wanted to talk about a lot of topics. We didn't want to stick to one topic, which some podcasts do, whether it be like murder mystery or just sports or something. We wanted to talk about a lot of topics. So we wanted different topics and stuff. And so the reach around fit that so we could go around different topics and stuff instead of sticking to like sports or murder or whatever. We could pick multiple topics, and the name was still comedic too.
Ah, yeah. It is a very unique name, honestly. I love the thumbnails you make with it, the logos and stuff. That's great. The style.
Yeah, I try to make it as fun as possible. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, it's not I will never say it's the best produced show, but we try to have fun. That's the real goal.
Yep, that is the real goal. Yeah, have fun. Enjoy whatever you're doing.
Exactly.
So I want to talk about A Game of Men and Small Boys.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen that? Not many people have seen that.
I've seen like a little bit of it.
Okay, yeah.
But you got some private videos. I don't know if you want to talk about that.
No, that's fine. So what happened was, the first thing was that I decided to make a documentary about our fantasy football league because we had been going strong, and my friends are kind of crazy, and I'd be the first to admit that.
But yes,
that was the. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying that they're a fun group of people.
Oh yeah, they're a fun group of people. All right. So I decided I was gonna make a documentary about it, and it was just gonna be. The first one was just going to be about leading up to the draft, and then I started talking to the guys, and they're like, this really needs to be like a series. And so then my goal kind of changed. The first one, that was really what my ultimate goal was. So the first A Game of Men and Small Boys, it's about an hour long. That was what the actual goal was. I wish I would have had more participation from the guys, because that's what ultimately came down to it, is that when I made it a series type thing, when I had to make multiple episodes, I lost participation from my group, and I didn't want to go on with just me, and I also had school at the time, and so that's why those 2 other episodes are private now, because I just said, hey, I don't want to leave it. I'd rather leave it off on the first one, which is kind of what my vision was in the first part, instead of having things just drop off after that 3rd episode. So that's why those are private. I'm okay with those, but yeah, the first one is really the one I wanted to do. And even then, I still wish I would have been able to do more. I just didn't have the participation that I thought I was going to have. And so it could have been better, but it was one of my first times doing one of those things. And it was just for me and to have fun again. Like, I wasn't going to send it out to any festivals or anything like that. But yeah, it was just meant to be fun.
Yeah, so when I watched a little bit of it, I was like, hey, that's a really great idea,
Yeah.
Having fun with your friends, doing something that you guys talking about it passionately,
Yeah. And they say crazy stuff in the group messages all the time, and I was like, just send a video message so I can put it in the episode, and they just would not do it, and so I had to abandon it midship. So that's why the other 2 are private. But the first one is still up, and it's not the greatest thing in the world, and that's kind of it's a real documentary, but it's also kind of on the verge of a mockumentary too. So it's okay that it looks kind of bad.
Yeah, if you have an hour to spare, I recommend seeing it.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, because I completely understand how, school can get in the way, and then having to schedule everybody and then participate in it. That's one of the hardest things. What advice would you say to people to get over that? Like, have you figured it out or?
You got to surround yourself with people that will be there. I love my friends to death, but I mean, they're not meant for big production or any production really most of the time. Kieran he's been in film and stuff like that. Let's see. Rob is who I'm working with now. He's made for stuff like that. And so you just need to find people that are actually interested in doing what you want to do. That was my biggest problem with that one. And I've been on other films that aren't necessarily on Secondhand Mouse Productions, but they've all been interested. So you got to find the team that wants to be there.
For sure. So I want to take it back to what came of the idea, because I know you were talking about how Secondhand Mouse Productions was more of like you doing stuff. So how did you come back to that with the reviews?
Yeah, so I was wanting to do a show. I had an idea for a show type of thing, and that's what I really like to do. I like to be like I like things like this where I can talk to people and have like kind of a talk show and stuff like that, podcast stuff. I like meeting new people. I like talking with them. I like being around them, hearing stories and stuff like that. And so I was on that kind of idea, but then I was like, I don't really want to just have this show and then have nobody ever come on, because that's kind of where I was at the moment. It was so hard to schedule people, and
yeah.
I couldn't get people on. So I was like, you know what? I can make like reviews and stuff. And so that's kind of where I started with the reviews. And those were going good for a while. I mean, they don't have tons of views or anything like that. And I'm still working on viewership myself. So that was just kind of for me. And then I realized, I wasn't having as much fun as I wanted, but I did a review with Kieran. It's over the video game Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. And so that I had really fun making that. It's got like minimal views. It's not out of this world. But I had really fun doing that. And so I've kind of decided I've taken a hiatus from the reviews right now since quarantine started, and I've been looking for a job. But I'm going to get back to it, and I think I'm just going to do video games only from now on. I have one planned with a friend, and it's going to be over Animal Crossing. So hopefully we film that pretty soon.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
Yeah. I love video games, and I play them a lot. So I just said, why don't I just review video games for fun? And if people watch them, they watch them. If they don't, they don't. Most of my viewership comes from the actual things that I make for people, like wedding videos or recruitment videos.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same with Oak Tree Productions. We're trying to change that right now, but doing stuff, but it's hard to do stuff during the quarantine.
Yeah, and there is a podcast I'm on too called Things. It's pretty successful, but it's not hosted by my YouTube channel. It's hosted by my friend Rob's channel, but it's everywhere where podcasts are found.
Do you know what the channel is called?
Yeah. Rob for Films is where Things podcast videos are on.
Wow, that's cool. Be sure to take that out, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk about, because you were talking about how you do videos for people around, like event videos, like weddings. Mm-hmm. So what made you want to do those?
So I've actually thought about it for a long time, but then I was asked by a family friend to do their wedding. And that was the first wedding I'd ever done, but I was really excited about it. And so I decided to try it, and it went really well. And there's something weird about me. I don't know, but I'm a big rom-com fan, and so I enjoy weddings. And there are a lot of filmmakers or photographers that just absolutely hate weddings. But I really like weddings. I enjoy them, and so I enjoyed putting it together. And so I was just like, I should continue doing this because there's a need. And so that's just kind of become my thing. I have 5 weddings booked right now. Hopefully COVID doesn't cancel them, because I need money.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I really enjoy weddings. And after the first one, I was like, this could really be something I do. And so that's kind of where the production company is right now. And like I said, it's mostly just me right now. But then when I go do events like that, I hire other people to come, like freelancers, to come and help me.
Yeah, we had we had a wedding lined up, and then it was canceled to COVID-19. It's a
Yeah,
crazy world.
was it this month?
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah. My next one is in July. So, and then it goes through the summer into the fall. So hopefully we're back in business by then.
Hopefully, I mean, I'm pretty sure we will be, because the curve is flattening right now, so that's
Yeah.
pretty good. Um, so you talking about the films you've done for Secondhand Mouse Productions. How did you
Mhm.
come up with those with the group and other people?
Yeah. So, uh, like I said earlier, I'm more of a pre-production guy. So I like writing. I like figuring out the shots. I like the paperwork. I like all that stuff. I can do directing and I can do behind the camera, but it's not where I think I thrive. And so when we start planning to do a movie or something, I'm sometimes the writer, uh, sometimes the director. It just, we're working together, but it's really we're all meshing together too at the same time. Like we're all taking on bits and pieces of multiple jobs. Like we are not somewhere where we can have everybody do a separate job. So like director is directing, but he's also, being continuity guy too. Our cinematographer doesn't have assistant cameras at the moment. So we're not big like that right now. I've done some films in classes with other people where it's kind of the same thing. Um, we're not totally into just film stuff right now. I wish I was. I'm more personally a writer than I am a filmmaker. I like the writing aspect. That's where I like to do things. I like to produce things. And so if I could stay away from production altogether, I probably would. But that's just not how it is right now. So we're all kind of melding together. And actually, before this COVID-19 stuff started happening, we were about to start pre production on a film for a contest called a
Oh
Road
yeah,
Night contest, and hopefully we can still get that going. But we're kind of halted right now, so I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if Road contest is even going to happen this year, but we were planning on entering that contest.
oh yeah, I was planning on entering that contest too.
It's a
It's funny
great
though.
contest. If
Yeah,
anybody wants, yeah, awesome prizes, and people enter a lot of cool videos.
I think it's called My Road Reel. It's
My
pretty.
road reel, yep, exactly.
It's great. Uh, you talking about you love rom coms? Do
Yeah, I do.
you ever vision yourself writing, or do you have write it?
I haven't written a rom com yet. No, I do envision myself writing one day. I hope so. Yeah, yeah. I love that stuff. Like When Harry Met Sally, Sleepless in Seattle, Meg Ryan fan, obviously, but um, yeah, stuff like that. The good ones. I'm not a kissing booth or PS to all the boys I loved before type of person. That the good ones.
Yeah. Man, when I saw those, I was like, oh, this is like made for TV.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've written kind of a teen love story, but it's more about friendship than it is about the love story
A lot of
in a way.
good rom coms is like about friendship.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I haven't written a rom com yet, and to be honest with you, I'm more inspired to write things on the line of like Christopher Nolan type stuff. He's my favorite director.
Ooh.
So I take inspiration from his stuff, and when people say that, they're like, "Oh, you just think like The Dark Knight is great." The Dark Knight is great, but I love all of his stuff. Dunkirk, The Prestige, I really really love. So it's not just about The Dark Knight. He's just a great director, and his brother also makes Westworld, which is something I like too. So that kind of headspace type thing where you have to think on the edge of your seat to figure out what's going on in the movie or the TV show is kind of the stuff I like.
Does that kind of tie in with your reviews?
Does that tie in with my reviews?
Yeah.
Well, if I'm reviewing those movies, those are good movies. So yes, yes, it does.
I was talking
Uh,
about how you like approach it because you're saying you kind of had to dive in.
yeah. How I approach it. I don't know. I don't know. I've never thought about it that way. I mean, possibly. Yeah. I'm assuming all films that I enjoy or like that have some part of you, and subconsciously, that's how you do things.
So, what are your long-term goals with Secondhand Mouse Productions?
So, first goal right now that we are enacting as we speak, we are going to get we're going to be brick and mortar, which means I'm going to have a studio building uh, with other people, but people that I work with, they're going to be housed in that same studio. That's going to encompass things where we can film things for YouTube, our podcast, and stuff like that, and we can host things. Um, and so brick and mortar, and then obviously I want to gain more clientele wedding wise because that is really what I'm focusing on. So I'm already doing pretty well this wedding season. I maybe want to book one or two more, but we'll see how it goes considering everything that's going on. So that's goal one. Goal two is we plan to create a actual film festival around my hometown. And so we're in discussions with the Chamber of Commerce about that and stuff. And so we hope to get off. Well, we're pre planning, but the goal was 2021 to be the first year, but it may have to be pushed back considering everything. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's goal number two. And then we would have screenings and stuff like that and be in charge of that. And then goal number three is just to be viable enough because right now it's not my day job and it's not going to be my day job for a while. But the ultimate goal is to make it my day job.
Is this something that you kind of dream about, or is that?
So yes and no. Uh, thing you're going to figure out about me is that I actually have a background in politics, and so my first goal, my day job goal, was to work uh, in the technology side, the digital side of politics. So running social medias, doing videos for campaigns, being a communications director, stuff like that. And I just recently worked on a campaign. We lost, so I lost my job. But that happens. That's politics, you know. So I ran his social media and did his videos for him. And so that's kind of my day job goal at the moment. And my ultimate dream, I want to run for office one day. That is my ultimate dream. So I can't say that productions is where I exactly wanted to be in, but I really enjoy it and I hope it kicks off and maybe one day my company can even run without me. That'd be pretty cool.
Just enjoying some Dr. Pepper here. Go Texas. Anyway, we are self-sponsoring this episode. Go to shop.spreadshirt.com/RopeTreeProductions for awesome merch. We got t-shirts with various designs. All profits during the COVID-19 pandemic will go to the Central Texas Food Bank. And if you don't want to support us, we got a neutral design called Fook, which is Vietnamese for lucky and blessings. That way you can still support a great cause while looking stylish and ready for anything that may come. Again, that is shop.spreadshirt.com/RopeTreeProductions. Thank y'all. Now back to the episode. What did you say to people who want to get into politics?
Yeah. I don't speak a lot about politics out in the open because nowadays, I mean, like whatever letter you have beside your name means someone's going to instantly hate you, which I think is ridiculous. But
Yeah.
if you want to get into politics, you got to work really hard. You got to be impressive. To be impressive, you got to do the work. You got to put the time in. I was an intern for a congressman this past summer, and I worked really hard for it. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it wasn't something that was just handed to me. I had good grades. I had a good recommendations. I had, yeah, I had support from teachers. So I worked really hard to get that. And really, you need those internships. You need to make connections with people. You need to talk to people. Because if you want to run for office one day, you also still need those connections, and you need to be able to talk to people as well to help them however you can, and have them go out and vote for you. So if you want to get into politics, you need to figure out people, and you need to figure out yourself most of all, because in America, you have the right to be whoever you want to be, and think however you want to think. And that is not always agreeable with everybody. And so you're going to have a base that hates you and a base that doesn't hate you. So you're going to have to be able to take some hate, and hopefully the end goal is that you actually help people.
Is with Secondhand Mouse Productions, do you
Mm-hmm.
want to help people as well with that? Is that something that you kind of have a goal with too?
Of course, yeah, yeah. This dentist thing was actually it's a very unique story. Uh, this girl had suffered from domestic abuse, and they called us up a day before, and they were like, "Hey, we want to get this story. We want to get this story." And we didn't ask any questions. We asked questions. We asked, "Hey, where it was, and what your goal for the video was," but we weren't like, "Man, what's this girl like?" or anything like that, or you know. We were just like, we didn't ask for what the pay was either. We didn't care. We were just like, we're going to go down there and we're going to shoot this story because maybe it'll help somebody in the future. So definitely, with recruiting videos, I hope that gets a kid into college. I hope that, because some people can't pay for college and they need scholarships. So I hope that helps people. Yeah, so I'm definitely about helping people, whether it be a business, a politician I support, or just someone suffering. If I have the tools to help somebody, I'm gonna use them.
So, with that being said, if someone wants to start a YouTube or start a production, what do you think their mindset has to be?
Well, you got to be determined first of all, and you got to have a little bit of courage to even put yourself out there. There are some things I put out there, and I'm like, man, man, like I'm an anxious person, so I'm like, wow, I can't believe I put that out there. But I had the courage at the time, and so it's out there. So you got to have courage, you got to be determined, and you got to be willing to have fun. Because not everything's going to be a success. I'm definitely not a success story right now, but I hope to be someday. That is the goal. And so, if you can have fun when you're not a success, then you'll be able to have fun when you are too. So, you got to have that fun mindset.
Any advice that there like for people who are wanting to get to that
To be
mindset?
success, any advice to have fun mindsets? You
Yes.
just got to work on it. I mean, if you want to film something, I mean, you don't have to buy. I bought cameras, okay, but you don't have to. You can take out your phone and you can start filming. Classes are having to do that right now because of the way things are, and so you can film stuff. If be creative. Reading helps a lot with creativity. Not many people do it, but it does. It really does. Read what other people have said. Read fictional characters and their motivations. Watch movies. Watch music video. Get creative juices flowing. And if you have an idea, it may be very bad, but if you do it, it's still helpful in the long run. So I would just say, get hands on. Like, that's the best thing you can do. Be hands on about what you want, and then eventually, hopefully, it'll come.
What do you say? This also applies to weddings, doing wedding gigs.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that first wedding, I it was my first one, but I had watched. There's a guy on YouTube I watched called Wedding Film School, and I had been watching him for a long time. And I take some of his ideas and I make them my own, and I study other people, and um, I have fun at the wedding too. I mean, it's not. I don't. I see it as a job because I want to make a product that is awesome for the bride and the groom. But I also see it as a very good time to have. I don't see it as super stressful. I see it as this coming together of two people where we're celebrating that and we're having fun. And so that's my job to uh, show other people that. But I'm also involved in that too. So you gotta have fun with everything. So yeah, I do take that the same way with weddings. I'm there to have fun.
It's one thing to take about this episode is that you just gotta have a fun mindset. Would you?
Exactly. I mean, I don't want to seem like I'm a gung ho like one of the seven dwarfs happy or something, but because that's definitely not who I am. But there's going to be hard times, and you're not always going to feel creative or feel like you're having very good success or nobody's watching your videos. And I know that feeling. Nobody watches most of my videos, and that's okay. Um, but when you're making it for yourself and you're having fun, it's 10 times more gratifying than that one more view on your video, because when you were making it, you did it for you and you had a good time.
Yeah. Um. So, any advice for people going into weddings? Would you say?
I would definitely say, even though I talked about having fun, you definitely need to be prepared. You need to know how you're going to shoot the wedding. So whether it be with what cameras you're taking, what mics you're going to bring, what feeling you're trying to evoke through video/music, and you need to have some type of idea before you even get to the wedding. You also need to be able to speak to the bride, because some brides are really hands on and some are hands off, and some want you around them like 24/7, and others don't really want you around all that much. So it's about the relationships. So you need to develop relationships with people. Again, that's a big thing in film: relationships, relationships, relationships. Um, yeah, but you got to be prepared. So when I go into it, I'm usually have a camera on me. I'm flying around, getting mostly B-roll stuff and stuff like that. And then I have another camera that's just specifically for the wedding. So that's kind of the backward shot and stuff like that. And then if I have the money to pay for a second camera, they're also flying around, usually in different areas than I am. And then when the wedding actually starts, we'll be on separate sides, and then I'll have the back camera, and then we can move around during the vows and stuff. And during the reception, I'm flying around again on the dance floor, where the cake is, stuff like that.
So, talk about audio problems for weddings, because I have a lot of problems with audio. I don't know, audio is my weakest link. So,
No,
what?
audio is my weakest link too. No, I totally, I have that problem too.
So,
Um, Sometimes when you're working on the fly like that, you gotta. And I'm a religious person, so I say you gotta just pray it works. Um, yeah, that's tough. I usually have two recorders, and during the vows, if it's a windy day, you're kind of screwed, if I'm being honest with you. So hopefully the wedding is inside, and if it's outside, it's not windy. That's your first two prayers. Um, the third is I have two recorders, and lapel them on the preacher or the judge, whoever is officiating the wedding, and then I lapel the groom. I don't lapel the bride because the dress just too tricky to work with. I wouldn't do that. I've seen some people, if there's a microphone stand, they'll even lapel. They'll wrap the so say like the best man or the maid of honor is giving a speech. They'll lapel the mic, and so you get that there. Some people, it depends on the DJ and if you know them or if they're willing, but you can plug into their sound system and record audio from there. I haven't been able to do that with my weddings yet. So my best man and maid of honor speeches haven't sounded great. But yeah, it's a shot in the dark. You just got to be prepared, bring your recorders, and put them on. And hopefully, when you get into the editing bay, it sounds decent, or you can work with it in some audio software. Like, you know, I'm forgetting the Adobe one right now, but that's what I use.
Premiere Pro and all that.
Yeah, there's a audio one. What is that?
Audition, I think.
Yeah, I think it's Audition. Yeah, I think you are correct. Yes, yes, I use Audition.
That's what equipment do you use?
So, um, sometimes I get loans from people, but my personal equipment that I use right now, I'm on Canon 70D. Um, that's my personal one. Before that, I was on a beginner camera, which I just bought because I was beginning and I was learning the ropes, and that was a Rebel T6i Canon. But equipment that I loan out or that I get from other people, I've used a Canon 90D. I've used a Nikon Z6. I've used a Canon 80D. So I'm mostly a Canon guy myself. I've been looking into those Black Magic DSLRs. Those look really good. I like the. I like the. There are certain functions of that camera that seem interesting to me. So I've been thinking about that. I use Manfrotto tripods, and that's basically mostly what I use. Steadicam. I have uh, a newer balance that I fly around with at weddings. But I've borrowed gimbals and other things like that too. I'm trying to think of the name of the gimbal, but I can't. I don't think I can pronounce it. If I'm being honest.
Is it starts with a Z?
Yes, yes,
I,
it does.
I don't know how to pronounce it either.
Yeah, yeah. So just look up the top tier gimbal, and it'll be like something like Zion or something, and that's the one I've used.
So what about audio equipment?
Audio equipment. So I use Rode Video Mic Pros. Um, I usually get. I haven't bought any of those because they're like $200. I get those on loan from somebody, and then my personal Rode Video Mic Go. It's not as good as the Pros, so I wouldn't use it for the wedding. I'd loan the Rode Pros, but let's see. And then for recorders, you can use the Zoom, but what I found is that those Olympus recorders, like those little small ones, they actually worked really well if you have the lapel for them. And those are what I lapel the groom and the officiator with.
Yeah, those things can be actually pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, they're like I think they're like $10 if I'm being honest. Well, they're probably more than 10, but yeah, they're not expensive. Like the Zoom is awesome, but if you're looking to save some money, which I am,
Yeah.
those Olympus recorders are a good buy.
You can get it at like Best Buy for like 12.99 for each lapel. I know that
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, those are great. I
Yeah.
highly suggest them.
So what is your range of weddings? For example, like what your five next weddings you have, what are the like general area they're in, and how far are you willing to go?
So right now, just Texas. Uh, that's because I have a car situation and I need to figure that out. So, um, I hope to one day, you know, cover the South. I don't think I want to, if it's somebody I really know and they're like, "Hey, I'm having Vegas," I would go because I want to go to Vegas. But I don't know if I'm ever gonna be like, "Hey, my wedding's in Maine. I know you don't know me. Can you come to Maine?" I don't think I'm. I don't know if I'm ever gonna do that. But yeah, Texas is it right now. Yeah, but then these next couple of weddings, they're around me. So a lot of my clientele are people DFW area, they're not it's not very expansive yet. And I'm hoping with, the videos I'm gonna put out, they're gonna be shared a lot more and I'm gonna have a lot more coverage. And so people will be able to see that. So I can get more jobs across Texas.
So, what advice would you give people who are trying to get into the weddings?
Man, you gotta like weddings. I like weddings. I mean, I have photographer friends. I have videographer friends. They hate weddings. They hate doing them, so they decline them. And that's actually good for me that they decline them, because then they come to me and I accept them and I get more money, you know? So you got to like the weddings. And if you like the weddings, you'll do a better job. If you absolutely hate being there, you're not going to do as good as a job as someone who really wanted to be there. So, and I'm not going to lie to you, some weddings, there's bridezillas, there's terrible problems that happen, but you got to be able to work on the fly. You got to be able to make calls in stressful situations. Um, yeah, but the main goal is you actually want to have to be there. So if you don't want to be there and you don't think you can do your ultimate best, you need to pass that on to somebody else so that bride and groom can actually have something that was made from somebody that actually wanted to make it for them.
So what advice would you give people who want to book weddings?
Who want to book weddings. So you need to do your research. You need to watch wedding videos made by videographers. Um, some people's style doesn't match what you want. So you need to watch the videos. And when you hire a videographer, there's a video in mind that you like, you need to show them so they can see if they can try to do that for you. And if they can't, they can decline. Um, you need to know that weddings videos are not for free and they take a lot of effort and a lot of time to make. So when someone comes at you with an offer that you think is too high, which is actually probably pretty reasonable, you need to understand that that is how they're paying their rent, and they can't just do weddings for $100 for you or $50. Um, yeah. So you need to know prices. You need to ask them their prices too, because some people have different prices depending on, how experience. So I'm not super high right now because I'm not super, super experienced and I'm not a corporate company. But I hope to go up. I hope to move up in the ranks. So with that comes more price. So you also need to make sure that they have the available dates. On my website, secondhandmouseproductions.com, I have a calendar for availability where you can check what dates I have open. So you need to know that. You need to know what style you want. You need to figure out pricing.
What do you say about the filmmaker side of booking weddings?
Oh, okay. So like for me, so I'm looking for right now, if someone comes to me, I obviously need to figure out pricing too, because I need to get paid and filmmakers need to get paid. That's how we survive, and that's how our economy survives, and that's how our business filmmaking stuff survives. Then I need to know location, see if I can even get there. If the gas money's too high, I'm not going. If the plane ticket's too high, I'm not going. Then you need to know how much equipment you're going to have to bring. So you're going to need to know the space that you are in and the type of lighting. If it's outside, I know I'm going to need, a dead cat and some ND filters. So you have to plan. You have to plan for that stuff. So you have to ask the brides, the grooms, these questions. So you can't come in, you don't need to go in blind. So you need to be as best prepared as you can. You need to ask those questions for equipment, lights, stuff like that. I had a wedding that was outside recently, and they set up a dance floor with lights, but then they decided to move the dance floor onto the grass where there was no lights. And so I wasn't prepared for no lights because I thought there was going to be lights because that's what I was told. And so I had to, make that was stressful for me, but I had to make that work. So I found natural lighting and did my best to work with it during the reception, which was at night. So being ultimately prepared, especially equipment wise, uh, way to go. And then you need to put yourself out there, whether it be from social media, stuff like that. Say, hey, you're booking weddings. And if you have a wedding, contact me. I can do it. You need to circle around your videos and stuff like that to get your name out there.
How would you talk about the negotiating of the prices with potential clients?
Yeah. So what I do is I offer right now. I offer a couple of packages. Um, One package is just me, and I tell them straight up, hey, this is the price for just me, which means I don't have money to hire a second camera. Um, and so I can do all of this for you, all of this. But since it's just me and I don't have a second camera, I do think your video quality is not going to be as good as, one with a second camera. So then I offer a second camera package, which is everything that I offer. And then I tell them this is a higher price because I have to pay somebody else other than just me. But overall, your video is going to be way better. And so usually when they hear that, they kind of go with the second package sometimes, but sometimes they don't, and that's okay. That's up to them. Um, but you negotiating is tough. When I started out, I didn't negotiate very much. I just said, "Yeah, that's great. Pay me anything, please. I'm trying to get my name out there." Um, but now it's not really like that. It's this is my price. Uh, I have to have this price to make a living, to feed myself. So this is what I can do. This is what I offer. It's take it or leave it at that point. So you got to be willing to say no to people. Like if somebody's like, I just thought it was going to be $50. It's like, no, this is going to take me at least 72 hours of editing or something like that, not including the day of the wedding. So uh, you need to pay me what's right. So you got to be willing to say no. So I say set your prices when you're ready, and then don't back down from it. Sometimes you lose customers, but other people, if they want it, they'll buy it.
So, how can people who are looking for wedding videographers uh, contact you?
They can contact me through my website. There's a little form there that'll send it to my email, or you can just email me, secondhandmouseproductions@gmail.com. My website is secondhandmouseproductions.com. You can, if you're following me on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, really, I have a page on Facebook you can contact. You can contact me personally on Facebook. You can contact me personally on Twitter or Instagram. Um, those ats are long, and I don't know if I'm going to directly say them at this moment, but yeah, my name is Cole Jackson. You'd be able to see it, but yeah, but mainly my website right now, I recently updated it and got it going, so that's where I'm getting most of it. I also people can text me. Usually when people email me, I want them to email me first so I know they're not, I know who they are and this isn't a creepy situation. But after that, I usually give the brides my phone number.
I'll put all the links down in the description below so people can, contact you if they find you through this video.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Anything you like to add?
I hope everybody's doing good. I'm very thankful right now for our health professionals and our first responders, police officers, stuff like that. I recently did a podcast with a doctor from my local area, and that was a great discussion. That podcast is called Things. It is episode, I believe, I think it's 4, not 5. It may be 5, but it's called Coronavirus 101. It is with the doctor. He gives great information. I'm asking him questions about the virus and how we can prepare ourselves in this time. So check that out. That's mostly what I'm doing right now is that podcast. I'm working on other videos. I don't know if they'll be hosted on my channel, but I usually spread them around on social media. So check those out if you follow me, stuff like that. Yeah, and just I hope people out there keep making. I'm nowhere where I want to be right now, but I'm towards it. So that's the goals.
Any last advice you want to say to people who are wanting to do the things you do?
Yeah, Just if you have an urge or a feeling to do something, whether it be writing, videoing, um, politics, if you want to be a nurse or whatever you want to do, just get started. I mean, it can be very bad. I'm not going to lie to you. The very first things you do, they're going to be pretty bad. But if you keep on keeping on and you progress your skills and you learn and you get better and you can critique yourself without feeling bad about yourself, you're gonna go far.
So I really appreciate you coming on. I mean, I learned a lot through this podcast, and it was really great, talking with you because we don't
Of
really talk that much,
course.
so it was pretty great to do that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we don't talk that much. I wish we talked more. I mean, I think you're a very cool guy, and I see what you're doing with your thing too. And I love watching y'all's videos. There's that movie you put out. It won some contest stuff, didn't it?
Yeah, this is 48-hour film festival one.
Yeah, 48 hours. I've watched that. That's cool. And you work with Car sometimes still?
Yeah, I recently did the first episode of this show with Karthik talking about Radio War.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that I love Carr. He's an awesome guy.
Yeah,
And his Radio War stuff. That's great. The I'm assuming you produced the Radio War YouTube stuff.
I did a lot of it in the first year and a half, and then Melissa took that up for another half a year,
Yeah.
and then
So the videos y'all put out for them are great. Like I think, like the
thank
live
you.
stuff that y'all do, I think that's awesome. I think with Radio War being a small band right now, my friend Kieran is also in that band. The video content on their YouTube is great. So check that out.
I'm hoping to interview Kieran soon. We were supposed to do it 2 days ago, but
Oh yeah,
things did.
Kieran. You know Kieran, man.
Yeah. um. Yeah. I see what you're doing, and it motivates me. It inspires me, and that's one of the things that I wanted to do with the show. Is hopefully do the same. Motivate people, inspire them.
Yeah,
Um.
exactly.
Because I feed off of other people's success. I think if I see
Mhm.
someone succeeding or doing something great, and something that I like, that kind of motivates me to do better.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
Yeah, I think that is awesome, and hopefully, when all this stuff clears up, I would love to collaborate with you on something at some point. Um, I mean, we're serious about getting this film festival started, so when that gets going, I'll send you information on that, and maybe you can enter because we're hoping to get a lot of Denton people into that contest. We're hoping to schedule bands to play at it, and even photographers and artists will have some type of little competition. So we're getting our judges in line, we're getting our pitch ready, and we're hoping we'll get funded. But yeah, when that happens, I hope that we can all make more connections with each other, and y'all can come hang out with me in my hometown and show y'all's films.
I'm excited to see that come to fruition. Um, I remember because we talked about a film festival. I came up to you about it a long time ago.
Yeah, and when you came up to me about it, I was already thinking about this one too. I mean, I've been thinking of time, so it's something that I really want to do. And if you want to help out with that in this, I don't know what it's going to look like right now because we need to pitch the commerce of our town. But yeah, I can definitely loop you in some. I definitely say keep in contact with me. I think you're a nice guy, and I like talking with you. So, and I know that you're trying to do the same things we are. So, yeah,
Thank you.
connections.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. And, same to you.
Yeah,
I really wish we talked more.
yeah, yeah.
um, yeah. So if you need any help, we'll be glad to help in any way. So just ask us, message us. I'll be happy to help. I know Melissa would be happy to help, and Karthik would be happy to help. So yeah.
Yeah.
Any notes you like to add?
Yeah, just check out my wedding videos if you want. If you have a wedding coming up, I'll be happy to do it for you. You can contact me off my website, secondhandmouseproductions.com. Check out, obviously, like I just said, my YouTube channel for the things that you mentioned. Check out the Things podcast, which is on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Play, Radio Public, basically everywhere where podcasts are. The Reach Around, we haven't done a lot of episodes recently. It's been almost a year, but we hope to get one final episode in eventually. Like I said, its scheduling is terrible, and so it's hard to get everybody together, but we hope to do that eventually. So look, keep out for that. Gonna make an Animal Crossing video soon, so also look out for that. And thank you for listening to Ben's show, because this helps out not only me but him, and he's a great guy that deserves listens. So thanks, Ben.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
Appreciate everything you say too.
Yeah, man. Hey, it's all about working together. I mean,
yeah, for sure, for sure.
If you eat good, I eat good,
Yeah. All right, everyone that's listening at home, I'll post everything in the description below. And thanks for coming on the show, and have a great, wonderful day, and take care.
Awesome. Thank you, Ben.